Well, Donald Trump was not kidding about tariffs on Canada, but it looks like we have a way out of this. Canada and Mexico can avoid tariffs before Saturday's deadline, says Trump's commerce pick. Now, what is the idiot-in-chief of Canada going to do? Well, it looks like we're preparing for pandemic-like relief. Ladies and gents, welcome back. I mean, this couldn't be it's a more simple answer to a question. What do we do about these tariffs? Well, it is a quid pro quo. It means a tit for tat. You do this and we won't do that kind of scenario. And this is what we've been looking at. Now, Justin Trudeau is... he's been working on all these other angles. Are we going to do retaliatory tariffs, all this other stuff? It's not going to be helpful much in the situation. But when he's asked about, are you going to do something about the border? He has these things to say.
President Trump also repeated his concerns about the border. While less than 1% of fentanyl and illegal immigrants that enter the United States come from Canada, our government has already acted to address the concerns raised by the president about border security with an over $1 billion comprehensive border plan. We're already working collaboratively to keep our citizens safe on both sides of the border.
Yeah, well, you could probably fool CBC readers, something like that. But the reality on the ground is Trump has the intelligence to know. And I'm talking about intelligence apparatus. So of course he has the intelligence to know, but he has the intelligence apparatus to know that nothing is being done about the situation. Yeah, you might throw a couple of helicopters over the border, but this is not a serious attempt. And promising money into the future is not going to do anything for anybody. Canadians know this all too well. But nonetheless, there was a committee on this, on talking about tariffs in the United States, asking about, what's going to happen with the Chinese tariffs, what's going to happen with the Canadian and the Mexican tariffs. And on the Mexican and Canadian tariffs, it really came down to quid pro quo, like we said. And Stephen Punwazi says here, we won't face tariffs if it commits to properly screening its border and stopping the flow of the bad stuff, that big F word that you're not allowed to use on YouTube, not the usual F word that you're thinking of. Lower rates get the stimulus ready to cut off energy and prepare for a tariff war. Laundering bad stuff money is who we are. This is what we do in Canada. But here's the congressional hearing.
The big tariff view is going to be studied, and the president launched that in an executive order where he asked the Commerce Department and the USTR to study the tariff model long term. The short term issue is illegal migration and, worse even still, coming into this country and killing over 100,000 Americans. There's no war we could have that would kill 100,000 Americans. The president is focused on ending coming into the country. You know that the labs in Canada are run by Mexican cartels. So this tariff model is simply to shut their borders with respect America. If we are your biggest trading partner, show us the respect, shut your border, and end coming into this country. So it is not a tariff per se. It is an action of domestic policy. Shut your border and stop allowing into our country, our people. So this is a separate tariff to create action from Mexico and action from Canada. And as far as I know, they are acting swiftly. And if they execute it, there will be no tariff. And if they don't, then there will be. But it's an action-oriented model. That's not the ordinary tariff. The ordinary tariffs need to be studied and examined, and that will start, as the EO said, in April.
So that's a separate tariff.
Correct.
After that study, what would be the timeline of that?
I think that's sort of in April. Those studies will come out in the end of March and April, and then you'll hear about those at that time. So big macro issues with tariff are being studied, but the micro issue is Canada and Mexico and the precursors from China. They need to end, and we need to protect our Americans from and our trading partners in Canada and Mexico. They should end it and stop disrespecting us and allowing this come through our borders.
Well, I think we all agree on secure borders. I'm with you all the way. Being a northern border state, the ranking member on Homeland Security, we want to do that.
Absolutely, they want to do that, and this is the message across Canada. We want to do this too. Now, there has been denials that, Justin Trudeau even saying in that first clip, it's not happening in Canada. It is actually happening in Canada. CCFR putting this one out there. RCMP discover massive Mexican cartel super lab in Mexico. You think? No, the largest in Canadian history in Falkland, BC. Police seized huge quantities of illicit bad stuff and chemicals, pew-pews and the things that they shoot, explosive devices, body armor, and $500,000 in cash, making the seizure worth approximately $485 million in value. This is the clip here.
A mountain of meth and other drugs, including cocaine and protected by an arsenal of weapons, everything from handguns to assault rifles, some loaded and ready to use. Investigators rolling out the haul from a bust that the RCMP calls the biggest super lab in Canadian history.
It has also served to deny this transnational organized crime group an estimated $485 million in profits.
It's insane how much has been going on. Now, were there any arrests made at this super lab with all of this stuff happening? There must have been a lot of people there when they stumbled across it. Well,
only one man has been arrested.
Wow.
Gaganpreet Singh Randhawa, facing 6 counts related to weapons and drugs. The RCMP promising more arrests.
Mexican
right.
cartels don't have their headquarters located in Canada, but they have proxies that operate in Canada, elsewhere. And those are the people that we're focused on and aim to bring to justice.
Right. This whole thing was run by one guy, and it was a proxy for everything else. This is why Donald Trump is not taking Canada seriously when there's cartels working on our land. And when they're operating and they're even busted, they don't even arrest one of them. Perhaps it's the RCMP that are worried about themselves in this whole situation. I'm not going to throw too much accusations out there, but they're, the cartels have been known to be nothing to mess with. But it looks like the United States are saying, nah, we're going to mess with them. Absolutely. Now, Danielle Smith has put a plea out there saying, can we just please actually address this issue? Can we get down to it? True North putting this clip on X saying Alberta Premier Danielle Smith calls on the Trudeau government to appoint a Canadian border czar to work with the U.S. in cracking down on that bad stuff, that F word, and illegal immigration, emphasizing it is a crucial first step to prevent tariffs before February 1st. Hey, we got a deadline. We better get on it.
Today, U.S. President Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary nominee, Howard Lutnick, stated during his confirmation hearing that, quote, if we are your biggest trading partner, show us the respect, shut your border. This is a separate tariff to create action from Mexico and action from Canada. As far as I know, they are acting swiftly, and if they execute it, there will be no tariff. And if they don't, then there will be. Let me say it again. The one thing that we can do this week, in just the next couple of days, to have the best chance to avoid tariffs is to show clear and unequivocal action.
Boots on the ground. Let's see it. Let's see some actual action happening. Are we seeing anything? No, we're really not. We're really not seeing any of that.
Secure the border. This should start with the appointment of a Canadian border czar to work with the new American border czar to jointly crack down hard on and illegal migrants. Is this likely to end the threat of tariffs entirely? I don't think so. I think there'll be other things that we will need to work on, and we will do so. But I am convinced, after speaking with dozens of elected U.S. representatives, administration officials, and the president himself, that this is the most important first step. Today, I reiterated this to the premiers, Minister LeBlanc, Minister Wilkinson, and Prime Minister Trudeau, and I hope it is acted on by the end of this week before February 1st.
Yes, we all would hope so. We all would hope so. But is this the action that's going to come forward? We're not sure, because the Prime Minister is working on other things with their administration to, crack down and prepare for the tariffs that are coming, because they seem that they don't want to. Gov.exe is corrupt, putting this video out there. Team Canada is now talking about a pandemic-style approach to Trump's tariffs.
It's a date Canada is trying to scratch off Donald Trump's calendar, but one the new White House press secretary says is firm.
The February 1st date for Canada and Mexico still holds.
If the 25% tariffs are imposed, the federal government is considering a pandemic relief package for workers and companies.
We don't need Canada for that.
COVID-19 supports cost the economy hundreds of billions of dollars, and American tariffs could too.
People are ready for a bit of a bumpy ride.
The projections that we have seen indicate that this could be more serious for our provincial economy than the 2008 recession.
New money would likely require new legislation, and the business of the House of Commons is suspended until March 24th. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly is traveling to Washington. This will be her 5th visit to the U.S. since Trump's re-election in November.
Good to know Melanie Joly is in charge and going over there. I don't feel reassured by that. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Are you reassured by Melanie Joly going down to talk about what money we're promising to throw at our border in the future? No, it looks like those tariffs are going to come, and they're going to come, and they're going to hurt. They're going to hurt a lot to Canada. What do you think's going to happen? Are they going to have to bring us pandemic style relief? It sounds like almost, I don't know, I'm throwing this out there, but it sounds almost like the Liberal government is happy about this. They're finally getting that emergency that they wanted, perhaps to stall an election moving forward. Let me know in the comments what you think. And of course, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trekking.